Have you ever wondered how one decision can change the course of an entire life? How a single moment, fueled by pride or anger, could ripple out into something so unexpected that it leaves everyone involved questioning their choices? This is exactly what happened when Ethan made the worst mistake of his life, throwing Sarah out while she was pregnant. Little did he know, years later, he'd find himself standing in a crowd, watching her walk down the aisle to marry someone else. Someone richer, more successful, and everything Ethan thought he'd never have to compete with. But this isn't just about jealousy or revenge. It's about love lost, paths diverged, and the haunting question, what if? Ethan and Sarah weren't always like this. Once upon a time, they were inseparable. Their relationship wasn't perfect, had its ups and downs, but there was something real between them. They shared dreams of building a future together, of starting a family someday. When Sarah found out she was pregnant, she imagined it would be the happiest day of their lives. She pictured Ethan wrapping his arms around her, promising to protect her and their unborn child no matter what. But reality hit differently. Instead of joy, Ethan lashed out. Consumed by fear and immaturity, he accused her of trapping him, of ruining his plans. In a fit of rage, he told her to leave, and she did. That night, as Sarah walked away with tears streaming down her face, carrying nothing but the clothes on her back and the weight of her pregnancy, Ethan didn't chase after her. He let her go. Fast forward 5 years, and things couldn't look more different for both of them. While Sarah rebuilt her life from scratch, raising their son alone, Ethan struggled to pick up the pieces of his shattered ego. He tried moving on, dating other people, even convincing himself that he didn't need anyone. But deep down, he carried regret, a gnawing ache that whispered, "What if I hadn't let her go?" Meanwhile, Sarah blossomed into a strong, independent woman who refused to let bitterness consume her. She worked tirelessly, juggling multiple jobs to provide for her son, all while clinging to the hope that happiness might still find her again. And then, it did in the most surprising way possible. Enter Daniel Harper, a self-made millionaire known for his charm, ambition, and generosity. To many, he seemed untouchable, a man who had it all. Yet beneath the polished exterior lay someone searching for meaning beyond wealth and success. Daniel met Sarah at a charity event where she volunteered. There was something about her warmth, her resilience, that drew him in. Unlike others who saw only her struggles, Daniel recognized her strength. Slowly, over months of friendship and shared moments, their connection grew deeper. For the first time since Ethan, Sarah allowed herself to believe in love again, and Daniel, he fell for her completely, vowing to give her and her son the life they deserved, as fate would have it. Ethan eventually crossed paths with Sarah again. It wasn't planned, it rarely is. A mutual friend's party brought them face to face after years of silence. The air crackled with tension as old wounds resurfaced. Ethan wanted answers, explanations, maybe even forgiveness. But Sarah wasn't the same girl he'd pushed away all those years ago. She stood tall, confident, and unapologetic about the life she'd built without him. Seeing her now, glowing with happiness and surrounded by loved ones, left Ethan reeling. It wasn't until later, when he noticed the ring on her finger, that the truth sank in. She wasn't just happy, she was engaged to Daniel Harper. The revelation hit Ethan like a freight train. Every regret, Every missed opportunity came rushing back. He couldn't stop thinking about the irony of it all. The woman he once dismissed as insignificant was now set to marry a man who had everything Ethan lacked. Money, status, admiration, they were all symbols of the life Ethan dreamed of but failed to achieve. But worse than envy was the realization that Sarah had moved on, not just emotionally, but entirely. She had found someone better, someone who valued her in ways Ethan never did. As much as he hated to admit it, Ethan knew Daniel was good for her. Still, that knowledge didn't ease the storm brewing inside him. Now, here we are, on the eve of Sarah's wedding day. The venue is picture perfect, adorned with flowers and fairy lights, buzzing with excitement. Friends and family gather to celebrate the union of two souls destined to thrive together. Among the guests stands Ethan, dressed sharply but visibly uneasy. His eyes dart toward Sarah whenever she laughs, whenever Daniel takes her hand, whenever their son runs up to hug her. Each moment feels like a knife twisting in his chest. He knows he has no right to feel this way, not after everything, but emotions aren't rational. As the ceremony begins and Sarah walks down the aisle, radiant in her gown, Ethan's mind races. Will he confront her? Can he live with the consequences of his past actions? Or will he finally accept that some mistakes can't be undone? This story isn't just about heartbreak or redemption. It's about the choices we make and the lives they shape. It's about understanding that love isn't freedom. Freedom to grow, to heal, to choose your own path. For Sarah, marrying Daniel represents closure, a new beginning filled with promise. For Ethan, attending the wedding forces him to confront uncomfortable truths about himself. And for Daniel, loving Sarah means embracing not just her present but also her past. Together, these three lives intertwine in ways none of them could have predicted. But the question remains, what happens next? Does Ethan find the courage to apologize, to seek forgiveness, even if it changes nothing? Or does he retreat further into his own misery, haunted by what could have been? And what about Sarah? Will seeing Ethan stir old feelings, or is her heart truly set on Daniel? These are the questions that linger as the sun sets on this pivotal day, leaving us eager to uncover the answers. Stay tuned, because the journey is far from over, and trust me, you won't want to miss what comes next. As the ceremony unfolds, Ethan finds himself caught in a whirlwind of emotions he can't quite untangle. He watches Sarah exchange vows with Daniel, her voice steady and filled with conviction. It's clear she's made her choice, and it isn't. But what gnaws at Ethan isn't just jealousy, it's guilt. The kind that settles deep in your chest and whispers cruel truths you've spent years avoiding. He remembers the night he threw her out, the anger clouding his judgment, the way he convinced himself she was better off without him. Now, standing there as an outsider looking in, he realizes how wrong he was. Sarah didn't need saving. She needed love, support, and trust, things Ethan failed to give her. Meanwhile, Sarah is acutely aware of Ethan's presence. She tries to focus on Daniel, on the beautiful life they're building together, but her mind keeps drifting back to the man who once held her heart. Not because she still loves him, not like that, but because seeing him reminds her of everything she endured. Those early days after their breakup were some of the hardest of her life. Struggling to make ends meet while raising a child alone taught her resilience, but it also left scars. Scars that healed over time, thanks in large part to Daniel's unwavering kindness. Still, Ethan's reappearance stirs something inside her, a mix of sadness, frustration, and maybe even a sliver of pity. She wonders if he's changed, if he regrets his actions, or if he's still the same selfish person who pushed her away. Daniel, for his part, notices the tension between them. He's not blind to the history shared by Sarah and Ethan, nor is he oblivious to the way Ethan's eyes linger on her during the ceremony. But instead of feeling threatened, Daniel feels sorry for him. Sorry for the pain Ethan must be carrying, sorry for the family he walked away from, and sorry for the fact that he'll never truly understand what he lost. Daniel knows he doesn't have to compete with Ethan not anymore. Sarah chose him, not out of spite or revenge, but because he earned her trust. Still, he can't shake the feeling that this day might force all three of them to confront unresolved issues. And deep down, he worries about how Sarah will handle it. The reception begins, and the atmosphere shifts from solemn to celebratory. Laughter fills the air as guests mingle, clink glasses, and dance under twinkling lights. For a moment, it seems like Ethan might fade into the background, blending into the crowd as just another face in the room. But fate has other plans. As Sarah steps onto the dance floor with her son, who beams with pride as he escorts his mother to the first dance, Ethan approaches hesitantly. His hands are shoved into his pockets, his posture tense, but there's a vulnerability in his expression that catches Sarah off guard. "I'm happy for you," he says quietly, though his voice cracks slightly. "You deserve this." Sarah blinks, caught off guard by the sincerity in his tone. Part of her wants to dismiss him, to brush past him and return to the joyous celebration. But another part, the part that still carries fragments of the girl who loved him, can't ignore the raw honesty in his words. She looks at him, really looks at him, and sees not the man who hurt her, but someone burdened by regret. "Thank you," she replies softly, unsure of what else to say. Her son tugs at her hand, eager to continue dancing, and she smiles down at him before turning back to Ethan. "I hope you find peace, Ethan. I really do." Her words hang in the air between them, heavy with unspoken meaning. Ethan nods, forcing a weak smile before stepping back. He knows he doesn't belong here, not in this moment, not in her life anymore. Yet walking away feels impossible. He lingers near the edge of the dance floor, watching as Daniel cuts in to join Sarah and their son. The sight of them together, laughing, swaying, sharing glances filled with affection makes his stomach twist. It's not envy driving him now, it's grief. Grief for the life he could have had, the family he let slip through his fingers. The night wears on, tensions simmer beneath the surface. Conversations around the venue buzz with excitement, but Ethan remains isolated, nursing a drink at the bar. That's when Daniel finds him. At first, Ethan bristles, expecting confrontation, or thinly veiled hostility, but Daniel surprises him. Instead of anger, he offers understanding, or at least an attempt at it, you know. Daniel starts, his tone calm and measured. "I used to think money could fix anything, solve any problem, fill any void. Took me a long time to realize it doesn't work like that." He pauses, studying Ethan's reaction. Love isn't something you can buy or take for granted. It's earned, and once you lose it, he trails off, letting the implication hang in the air. Ethan stares at him, stunned by the unexpected candor. For a brief moment, he considers opening up, confessing everything he's been holding inside. But pride gets in the way, as it always does. Instead, he mutters a vague response and excuses himself, retreating to the quiet solitude of the garden. Outside, the cool night air offers little comfort as he leans against a railing, staring up at the stars. He thinks about Sarah, about the choices that led them here, and about the son he barely knows. Each thought feels like a weight pressing down on him, suffocating him with its finality. Back inside, Sarah senses something is amiss. She excuses herself from the festivities and steps outside, drawn by instinct more than anything else. When she spots Ethan standing alone, shoulders slumped in defeat, her heart aches despite herself. She doesn't approach him immediately, choosing instead to observe from a distance. In that moment, she sees not the man who broke her heart, but a broken man grappling with his mistakes. Compassion wars with caution within her, leaving her torn between reaching out and protecting herself. Before she can decide, footsteps echo. Behind her, it's Daniel, concern etched across his face. He places a gentle hand on her shoulder, silently asking if she's okay. Sarah nods, offering a small smile to reassure him, but her gaze drifts back to Ethan. Daniel follows her line of sight and sighs softly. He's hurting, Daniel says simply, and maybe tonight isn't about us. Maybe it's about him finding closure. To Sarah turns to look at him, surprised by his empathy. Why would you say that? Because I love you, Daniel replies without hesitation, and because I know you well enough to see that part of you still cares about him, not romantically, but as a person. If helping him heal gives you peace, then I'm all for it. Tears well up in Sarah's eyes, touched by Daniel's selflessness. With a deep breath, she makes her decision. Walking toward Ethan, she stops a few feet away, giving him space while signaling her presence. When he finally looks up, their eyes meet, and for the first time in years, there's no animosity, understanding. I'm not the same person I was back then, Sarah begins, her voice steady yet kind. But neither are you. Whatever happens next, Ethan, don't waste it. Don't let regret define your life. Her words hit him like a tidal wave, breaking through the walls he's built around himself. For the first time, he allows himself to truly feel, to grieve, to apologize, and to begin the painful process of forgiveness. But just as the moment reaches its peak, a sudden commotion interrupts them. A loud crash echoes from inside the venue, followed by panicked shouts. Without hesitation, Sarah and Ethan rush back in, their personal drama momentarily forgotten as chaos unfolds. What they find inside will change everything for better or worse. As Sarah and Ethan burst back into the reception hall, they're met with a scene of chaos. One of the large decorative chandeliers has collapsed, sending shards of glass scattering across the floor. Guests are scrambling to get out of the way, some nursing minor cuts, while others look on in shock. Amidst the confusion, Sarah's son is nowhere to be seen. Her heart stops as she scans the room, panic rising in her chest. "Where's my son?" she shouts, her voice trembling with fear. The question sends a jolt through both Ethan and Daniel, who immediately join the search. For a moment, all personal grievances are forgotten there, united by one shared goal, finding the boy. Ethan spots him first, crouched under a table near the fallen chandelier, clutching his knees tightly. Relief floods Sarah's face as she rushes over, pulling him into her arms. "Are you okay, sweetheart? Are you hurt?" she asks frantically, checking him for injuries. He shakes his head, wide-eyed but unharmed. It's a miracle he wasn't. Caught in the collapse, the tension in the room begins to ease as everyone realizes no one was seriously injured. But the incident leaves an indelible mark on the evening and on the people involved. Standing there amidst the debris, Ethan feels something shift inside him. Seeing Sarah's raw fear for her child reminds him of everything he missed out on: the sleepless nights, the moments of terror, the unconditional love that comes with being a parent. He knows now, more than ever, that he can't keep running from his past. Later, after the venue staff clears the mess and guests begin to settle down, Sarah takes a quiet moment outside with Ethan. The air is cool, and the stars above seem brighter somehow. She looks at him, really looks at him, and sees a man who's finally ready to face the truth, not just about what happened between them, but about himself. "I want to know my son," Ethan says suddenly, his voice thick with emotion. "I don't expect forgiveness, Sarah. I don't even deserve it. But I owe it to him, to both of you, to try." Sarah hesitates, torn between protecting her son and giving Ethan a chance to redeem himself. She glances toward the building, where Daniel stands watching them from afar. His expression is unreadable, but she knows he trusts her to make the right decision. "You'll have to earn his trust," she says finally, her tone firm yet compassionate. "And mine. This isn't going to be easy, Ethan. You walked away. Once you can't do that again." Ethan nods, tears welling up in his eyes. "I won't," he promises, his voice barely above a whisper. "I swear I won't." The next morning, as Sarah prepares to leave the venue with Daniel, Ethan approaches her one last time. In his hands, he holds a small gift, a toy car wrapped clumsily in bright paper. He hands it to her son, who looks up at him curiously. "For you," Ethan says, forcing a smile. Maybe we can start over, just a little bit at a time." Her son doesn't respond right away, but after a moment, he nods shyly and accepts the gift. It's a tiny gesture, but it carries so much. Wait. Sarah watches the exchange, her heart swelling with cautious hope. She knows this is just the beginning of a long journey, but for the first time, she believes it might actually lead somewhere good as they drive away. Daniel reaches for Sarah's hand, squeezing it gently. "You did the right thing," he tells her, his voice warm and reassuring. "He's got a lot to prove, but if anyone deserves a second chance, it's your son and you." Sarah leans her head against his shoulder, feeling a sense of peace she hasn't felt in years. Life isn't perfect, it never will be, but it's moving forward. And sometimes, that's enough. Months later, Ethan starts attending weekly visits with his son, slowly building a bond that had been absent for so long. It's not easy. There are awkward silences, moments of frustration, and plenty of growing pains. But there are also smiles, laughter, and glimpses of the connection they were always meant to share. Through it all, Sarah remains a steady presence, guiding them both with patience and grace. For Daniel, seeing Sarah find closure brings a deeper level of fulfillment to their relationship. He knows he'll always be the one she chose, the one who stood by her when she needed it most. And while Ethan may have re-entered their lives, Daniel understands that his place in Sarah's heart is secure. In the end, this story isn't just about love lost or found, it's about redemption, resilience, and the power of second chances. It's a reminder that life is messy, unpredictable, and often unfair. But within those imperfections lies the potential for growth, healing, and new beginnings. As Sarah, Daniel, and even Ethan move forward, they carry with them the lessons of their past and the hope of a brighter future.